Have you ever sat through something and just felt nothing? Like your brain checked out, you're restless, you're yawning, and you can't wait for it to end. That is boredom. And there is the thing. It happens to everyone. Even people who love their jobs, who love their hobbies. Even they get bored sometimes. But why? Why does our brains do this to us? Why can't we just be content with whatever we are doing? Well, stick around because we're about to explore one of the most human experience there is. And you might be surprised at what boredom actually is. So, what is boredom? Let's start with the basics. Boredom is that uncomfortable feeling when you are not interested in what you're happening or what you're doing. It's not the same as being tired. It's not laziness either. It's this specific state where your mind feels understimulated. You're looking for something, anything to grab your attention, but nothing seems to cut it. Think about it like this. Your brain is like a hungry animal. When there is nothing to eat, it gets restless. Boredom is your brain getting restless because it's not getting the mental food for it. So, why boredom exists? Now, here is where it gets interesting. Boredom didn't develop for no reason. Your ancestor didn't sit around feeling bored, or did they? Actually, scientists believe boredom is an evolutionary adaptation. It's a tool your brain developed to keep you alive and moving forward. Imagine you are hunter-gatherers thousands of years ago. You're sitting by a campfire and nothing happening. You're not being stimulated. Your brain starts sending you signals. Hey, this is boring. Move, explore, find food, discover something new. That feeling, that is boredom and it saves lives. If your ancestors had been content to sit idle all day, they wouldn't have discovered new hunting grounds. They wouldn't have found shelter. They wouldn't have survived. So boredom evolved as a motivation system. It pushes us forward. It tells us when we need novelty, when we need change. Now let's check the brain and boredom. Let's talk about what's actually happening in our brains when we are bored. Your brain has different systems that keep you alert and engaged. One of the most important ones involve a chemical called dopamine. Dopamine isn't just about pleasure. It's about motivation and wanting things. When you are doing something interesting or rewarding, your dopamine levels are up. Your brain is activated. But when you are stuck doing something repetitive or unstimulating, your dopamine drops. Your brain basically says, this isn't worth my attention right now. Scientists have found that people with certain brain differences, like ADHD, they experience boredom more intensely. Their brains need more stimulation to reach that comfortable level of dopamine. That's why they might get bored faster or seem to bounce between activities. It's not a character flaw. It's literally how their brain chemistry works. There's also something called boredom threshold. Everyone has one. For some people, a quiet evening at home is perfect. For others, they'd go crazy. This is partly genetic. Your brain is wired a certain way, and also partly learned through experience. Now let's see another thing. It's the types of boredom. Here is something fascinating. Not all boredom is the same. There are actually different types. There's stimulation boredom. There's situational boredom. You're stuck in traffic. You are in a boring meeting. You're waiting in line. The boredom is temporary. It goes away once the situation changes. We all handle this one. Then there is existential boredom. This is deeper. This is when you feel like your life lacks meaning or direction. You might have plenty to do, but nothing feels important. You're going through the motions, but you are not really living. This kind of boredom can lead to depression if it goes on too long. There's also calibration boredom. This is when something stops being novel. Remember when smartphones came first? They were amazing. You couldn't put them down. Now probably pretty normal to you. Your brain has adjusted. It needs something new to get excited again. So how boredom affects us? Boredom isn't just an annoying feeling. It actually affects our bodies and minds in real ways. When you're bored, you are more likely to seek out stimulation. Any stimulation. That's why you might reach for your phone, or eat when you're not hungry, or make poor decisions. Your brain is literally pushing you to find something interesting, even if it's not good for you. Chronic boredom. That's when you feel bored a lot of the time. It can damage your health. Studies show it's linked to depression, anxiety, weight gain, and even shorter lifespans. When people are bored long time, they are more likely to engage at risky behaviors. They might smoke more, drink more, or take unnecessary risks. It also affects your productivity and creativity. When you are bored, you can't focus. Your mind wanders. And ironically, while boredom might seem like the opposite of creativity, sometimes you need to get past the boring task to get to the interesting creative work on the other side. So, is boredom always bad? Here's where it gets nuanced. Boredom isn't always your enemy. In fact, in small doses, boredom is really healthy. Boredom pushes you to break routines. It motivates you to learn something new. It makes you seek out challenges. Without boredom, you are stuck in the same patterns over and over, never growing or improving. There's also something called being bored but engaged. Like a long car drive might be boring, but it gives your mind space to wander and think. Some of your best ideas might come from these boring moments. It's called the default mode network. When you are not focused on something specific, your brain does amazing creative work in the background. So boredom in small amounts, it's actually a feature, not a bug. It's your brain pushing you toward growth and novelty. So at the end, why do humans get bored? That's because we evolved to need novelty and stimulation. Because our brains are wired to keep us moving forward, exploring and growing. Boredom is a signal. It's your brain saying, you need something more. The trick is learning to listen to that signal in a healthy way. Instead of scrolling mindlessly when you are bored, try something new. Take up a hobby. Learn something. Move or create. Boredom isn't a character flaw. It's not laziness. It's actually evidence that your brain is working exactly as it should, pushing you toward a more engaging, interesting, and meaningful life. And that's pretty cool, actually. So, if you like this video, please click like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and goodbye.